This was a company that was producing a big piece of software. It was an internal search engine for websites. And surprisingly for a software company, they were not nearly as laid back as they pretended to be. And their CEO in particular was a very, very stiff individual. And I had to present a flow chart that was going to show how they were actually going to tackle their cold calls from their sales office. And I grabbed him and I addressed him by his first name and said, "Jack, listen, hold up this one end of the paper and here's some tape." And I stuck a piece of tape on his cheek that he could use, and we taped this thing to the wall. And he was sort of, "Well, nobody ever calls me by my first name, and what is he? He's taping things on the wall." And after he got over the initial shock, he realized that, yeah, this is a work in progress. And he was up there moving the sticky notes around and looking at the process. We ended up, in about half an hour, getting a much better project, because they understood where I was coming from and what I had done, but they were also capable of seeing, all right, but here's something that we could actually do better. Or, okay, this is, in fact, a fair representation of what we're doing now, but it needs to be changed. And we can see, thanks to this chart, that things are different. And I think that if I had presented a nice deliverable, they would have said, okay, that's fine, and then we'll move on to something else. And here they got actively involved, and then when the system was actually up and running, they could see, yeah, that's really great, because that was when Eric glued all that stuff on our wall. And unfortunately, it also pulled off a little paint when we took it down.
So you left your mark.
So I left my mark. I have a feeling that our industry, and particularly the information architects, instead of standing behind their ideas, hide behind their deliverables. And they spend an awful lot of time gussying things up that are basically just glorified boxes and arrows. I've always liked to create fairly primitive boxes and arrows and other kinds of deliverables, and then let people make it sure that people understand that they can write on them, that they can mess them up in some way.